TheorySabers.com.
I felt like I was watching a completely different film, wrote Robbie Collin, who called the print a joyously craggy, grubby, stolidly carpentered spectacle.
What?
Oh, these film critics be doing too much. That looks more like fancy dress than grand sci-fi epic. Every scene had the visceral sense of watching actual people photographed doing actual things with sets and props that had been physically sawn and glued into place. Yes, that's exactly how it was. The slapstick between C-3PO and R2-D2 looked clunkier and therefore funnier. The Death Star panels were less like supercomputers than wooden boards with lights stuck on, and so better attuned to the frequency of make-believe. It felt less like watching a blockbuster in the modern sense than the greatest game of dressing up in the desert anyone ever played. Right, well, it was the 70s, man. Back then, it blew all of our parents' minds out of the water, because that was like, holy crap, this is so futuristic. Today, not so much. And we'll be saying the same thing in the year 2070. A vlogger for Cinema Savvy, George Aldridge, who says he's seen A New Hope at least 100 times, said the screening was incredibly special, but likewise made him realize there are so many great changes to the Star Wars films. It's the ones we dislike that have always overshadowed them. He too noted the print was so radically different that it felt like watching the film for the first time. Yeah. You know what's weird? When I remember A New Hope, I watched the VHS before the special edition came out. So this would have been 1996, I think. Anyways, at some point I remember seeing the original. And at least I think I did. Or as original as it could have gotten before the special editions came out. And I remember seeing, when they were rotoscoping Luke's lightsaber, when he was training with the droid. And they literally, like, you could see they paused frame and they had the dowel in, and all of a sudden it lit up, and then they paused frame again and the dowel was gone. It was just an empty hilt. Shout out Roger Christian. I don't know what it is about that and the film grain and the static here and there. I don't understand what it is about that for me personally, and I know everyone's different. It actually felt more like Star Wars than anything else. It felt more like Star Wars to me than even the prequel trilogy. Hang with me. Because it felt like how George wanted it to be, because it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So it's supposed to be extremely sci-fi advanced, but it's supposed to feel old. Star Wars isn't supposed to feel necessarily new and sleek and, Blade Runner, for example, or to be super high-tech and flashy. It's supposed to, everything's supposed to feel old and grungy and rusty. It's a long time ago from a galaxy far, far away. That a long time ago carries very far. Most everything in Star Wars does look rather old. Nothing really looks like super pristine like Star Trek, where everything is new and prim. Is that even a word? Whatever. See what I'm saying? So for me, it felt, maybe that's just because it was like the first watching of that, but I don't know. I just remember watching that one so many times where the lightsabers, you could tell, like they just did not nearly look as good and as like I remember Vader's lightsaber looked like pink.